Hi everyone, it's Hannah Schooner, or Schooner or Later, and this is my first video of my next series for Character Building 101, helping new players figure out who you want your character to be. In this video, I'll be breaking down the races and giving some sort of recommendation for what classes they might be best fit for. A common question I get asked is there a specific race I have to be if I'm this class, or if I want to be this race, do I have to be this class? And the answer is no. Your character can be whoever, whatever you want them to be. The different races in D&D are naturally gifted in different abilities, which will make them really good fits for certain classes, but there is no end-all be-all, this race goes with this class. You can be whatever you want to be. So I'm going to give a little bit of information on each class that is currently listed in D&D Beyond for character making. First is the Aarakocra, or the Birdfolk. If you choose an Aarakocra, you'll get +2 to your dexterity and +1 to wisdom. You'll be able to fly, and you'll have talons. Classes that use dexterity and wisdom are monks, rangers, rogues, clerics, and druids. Next are the Dragonborns. You get a +2 to strength and +1 to charisma. You also get something called draconic ancestry, and this lets you pick one of the types of dragons, whether it's red, green, white, blue, any of those, and whatever damage those dragons are associated with, you are resistant to them. So you can be resistant to fire, acid, poison, a bunch of really cool stuff. Some cool combinations that a Dragonborn could be is a barbarian, fighter, and paladin, you know, all those strong tanky classes, but also the classes that require charisma for spellcasting, like a sorcerer, warlock, or a bard even. Next are dwarves. If you pick a dwarf, you get +2 to your constitution. They're heavy, they're hardy, you know, they have a lot of hit points, of great endurance. They have resistance to a lot of things, resistant to being poisoned, for example. They have dark vision. They're great for a barbarian or a fighter or any class where you just want to have a lot of hit points. They're great for that. Next are the elves. Elves, you get +2 to dexterity. They're nimble, they're light on their feet, they have dark vision as well, and they don't sleep. They meditate for long periods of time. Thus, magic can't put you to sleep, so that can be pretty cool. Some classes that might use dexterity as their primary ability are fighters, monks, rangers, and rogues. Next are the Genasi. These are very interesting. They have elemental power in their blood. There's air, earth, fire, and water. So just for being a Genasi, you get +2 to your constitution. But if you choose to be an air Genasi, you get +1 to dexterity, and you can hold your breath almost indefinitely. If you choose to be an earth Genasi, then you get the +2 to constitution and +1 to strength. You also can walk through difficult terrain made of stone or rock like it's normal. That's pretty cool as well. Fire Genasi, you get the +2 to constitution and +1 to intelligence. You're also resistant to fire damage, and you have dark vision. For a water Genasi, you get the +2 to constitution and +1 to wisdom, and you're resistant to acid damage. Next is the gnome. If you choose to be a gnome, then you will have +2 to your intelligence. You have advantage on saving throws against magic, and you have dark vision of 120 feet. A gnome is a small, super smart race, and although wizard classes use intelligence a lot, you can be almost anything with a gnome. Next is the Goliath. You'll have +2 to strength and +1 to constitution. You're a natural athlete, and you'll have something called Stone's Endurance. Goliaths are great choices for really tanky classes, like barbarians or fighters. Next is the Half-elf. The Half-elf will give you +2 to your charisma, and then +1 to 2 ability scores of your choice. A half-elf is very easily moldable to be very good at whatever you want them to be. So that's a pretty cool class to where you can be charismatic and then you get to choose what else you're good at. Next is a half-orc, and you would get +2 to strength and +1 to constitution. Because you're an orc, you will also have dark vision, and you will be naturally intimidating. Just for being an orc, you will already have proficiency in intimidation, and something called relentless endurance. The strength and constitution are great for melee classes, barbarian, fighter, monk even, if you want something like that. But like I said, you can be anything you want to be. Next are halflings. Very small, almost the same size as the gnome, and they have +2 to dexterity. And the lucky racial trait allows you to re-roll natural ones, but only once, and you have to take the second number. So if, for whatever reason, you roll 2 ones in a row, you have to take that second one. Classes that might benefit from a dexterity bonus are fighters, monks, rogues, and rangers. Next is the human. A human is probably the most versatile race in all of D&D because you get +1 to every ability score, so you can be pretty good at almost anything you want them to be, whereas a lot of the other races are naturally good at 1 or 2. Next are the Tieflings. They're known to have the devil in their blood, so to speak. You get +2 to charisma and +1 to intelligence. You have dark vision and you're resistant to fire damage. Tieflings can make great bards or charisma classes. Sorcerers also use charisma as their spellcasting modifier. They're incredibly versatile and they're charismatic and smart. On the other end of the spectrum are the Aasimars. The Aasimars have celestial blood. They're good. You will get +1 to wisdom and +2 to charisma. Charisma can be helpful for a bard, a sorcerer, a warlock, and a paladin. Like I said at the beginning, each race has something they're naturally good at, and so it can make sense to pick a class where the ability score you will use the most. You'll pick a race who's naturally good at that thing, and that can be very helpful to you. But that's not the only answer. You can be any race and be any class, but the possibilities are endless, and there is no correct answer. Thank you. If this video was helpful to you, please like and comment, subscribe for more. Next for this series, I will be making videos for each class and breaking down what choices you have when building them and describing them to see what you might like the best. So keep an eye out for that, and thank you so much.